Hey everyone, how's it going? Yesterday we did some good work trying to figure out how to get a blog page rendered. So we did pretty well. We made quick work of it too. We can actually go look at it real quick over here in the. This is another project. If I go to blog posts, I actually don't remember how this worked. Oh yeah, we had a lorem ipsum. But yeah, so we designed this whole thing, rendered in the data from our PayloadCMS. So it looks pretty good for some pretty quick work. So I'm happy with this. I probably won't leave this posts count here, but I might just for fun right now. But yeah, so what we're going to do today is really build on this work, because when we go to the blog route, all we see is a hello. That's all it says is hello, which is not a very useful blog index page. So we need to fix that so that it's actually something that is useful. So let's go ahead and jump on in. So we go over and we just go to the blog and we can see what this looks like now. So again, all you see is the hello. And if we go to our blog route, not the slug, but the actual page, let's go ahead and clear out this SCSS real quick. And then we have all of this junk. We're going to delete all of this again, and we're just going to take most of what we see in the individual blog page. No, we can actually work through this, I think. So we need our classes. And now, of course, when you create a new project, none of this old junk is going to be there unless it's your own project that you cloned, which is what I did here. So a lot of this will get used most likely eventually, but it's just, I think, in the way right now. So we don't need any of this stuff yet. We don't need this. We'll leave the global settings in cache. Oops. Come on. Cache global and global settings, which we need to set this back to be perfect. So I don't know if we actually use this, and we need to set this back to get payload, because the HMR, which was hot module replacement, I think, is deprecated now. So we can just use get payload. We're not going to use this revalidation. We probably never will, but I'm going to leave it there just in case. And then let's go ahead and get, do I need these queries, or do I do the query inside as I should? I do them inside. Perfect. So let's go ahead and get rid of all of this. So I don't want to generate metadata. Not yet anyway. And we can come down here to props. And then we'll call these, instead of that, we'll call them blog props. We don't need this query here. All right, and then so we're going to take all of this and uncomment it out and clear this stuff out. So we're not doing messages, we're doing blogs. And this is going to be our blog props. And I already don't know why this is here. Okay, so we'll make sure that that goes away. But yeah, so we have our const page params, which is exactly what we're looking for. We're going to do blog query instead of whatever that was before. And then we'll figure this out later. I'm going to go ahead and just do a comment out there though. All right, so we want to first fetch all of our posts. So I'm going to do that here on the collection of posts. We're going to limit it to 12 though, because that's all we're going to take in. And we do have, oh, this is in the page. It shouldn't be though. All right, so we're only going to take this. I think what I did in this old project was I allowed it to, I enabled pagination, which we will do later, but not right now. So we're going to do where this should be. Let's move this I think status. Let's take a look at our, oh, I broke everything. Will this let me go to our admin panel? Oh, that's what's going on. So let's just get rid of this. It was trying to take the old default, but will this let me go here? Do I need to comment this out? Perfect. All right, so let's open up our dashboard. Come over here to posts. Nope, that's pages. Posts. And so what we're looking for is what our side, get out of here. Our status. So it's just top level. So we're just going to be looking for status. It's not equals to draft. So we're going to take this and put it into our blog query. So we want this to be a date of less than or equal to today, or whatever the current date is, and not in draft. So I'm going to replace this where query with blog query. And we're going to sort it by negative date. So it's going to give me the date in descending order, and we're going to make sure that our date is actually called date, and it is. Perfect. We're not going to add any schema yet. We're not going to do anything with a featured post quite yet. And we need to remove all of these classes. So instead of section as well, this is going to be main. Get rid of schema stuff for now. We have H1, which is going to be all posts. Get rid of classes again. We don't have anything for featured. And then here we have all which returns docs, and we're going to have this be any doc that the length of docs is greater than 0, so it's not an empty list. And we are going to return, just so we can see it, we're going to return an H2 with a key of, is this not a map? This isn't a map. I do need the map though. So all docs length, oh, okay, I understand what I have to do. So we get rid of that, we do category selection, and then here we're going to add just a div for now. And really, actually, this does need to be a section container, and this needs to be a content container. And then now we have here, we have all docs, and we are going to have our posts. Well, yeah, we'll leave it as post. And then just for now, we will now return an H2, and we're going to bring in our paste post title, and we're going to see how this does. If we go back to our local host and just do blog, we see all posts. This is a title, a test title, lorem ipsum dolor event. Now, if we go over to our admin, and the reason that we're not seeing other posts, because we do have all of these, so they're not set with a date. So if we do a date, and we're going to set this to be October 1st, so it shows up last. And I think we're getting an error because I didn't add a key, so I'm going to do that now. Post.id. And so now there's going to be no error, and we see all the titles that we have as active. If we go back here and we set the status to draft, that should disappear. Yep, it's gone now. All right, so I'm going to leave this just so I don't have only 2 posts to work with. And we're going to have that come back, test 2. So obviously I don't want it to look like that. So we're going to build out some cards. So it's really going to be the simplest way, I think. So if we do div, and as we go, this is going to be class name, classes, get out of here, emojis. This will be a card container. Really, it's going to be, we'll do card row. Class name, this is going to be classes. This is going to be the full card, so we're just going to call this card. And then we're going to have 2 sections. One is going to be the image. So this will be class name, classes.card image. And that's going to be an image object, which is going to have our post. Well, first, I'm sure we're going to have to do type of post dot content dot image. And do that is to not equal to string. And so that should show up whenever we're done here. So we have our image, and then we're going to have our class name, classes.cardBody, where we will have, it should be probably, we'll do an H2 just because of hierarchy, and then we'll have a serialize lexical, which is going to have nodes of post dot content dot this is going to be interesting. So we could do actually nothing here because we want to use our summary or our description for featured posts only. So we won't do anything there. So we'll only do the title, and that's going to be our post.title. And then underneath that, we should do probably a general date where we can enter our date of post.date, and then include time as false, and then class name will be classes.card date, self-closing there. All right, so we've got our card, which then we have the image and the body, which then has a header, class name, classes, card. We'll do title. And then we've got our date, which cannot be an empty string. And then I think we're in good shape to hit refresh. And this is going to look atrocious. I'm sure of it. Yes, it is. But that's because we don't have any formatting yet. So that's what we get to do now. So I'm going to leave it down into column view so we can get started there. And we're going to come over to our page module, get rid of card section here, and we're going to add in our variables. There we go. And then we're going to find all of our class names that we've done so far. I'm going to copy all of these. I'm going to have to add one for image, I think, but we'll see here in a second. And then, all right, so for card row, we are going to set our, well, let's get styling in first. So we definitely want our card to be, let's move this over. We'll do at include rounded. So we want the edges to be rounded. As soon as it loads, any moment now. Why aren't you rounding? Probably because of this other div here. Well, no, it should be fine. All right, so let's do something real quick. So if we have our card body, which we will have a background color of our light primary. And then for our card, we will also do a margin. Well, let's actually just set this to be flex, display flex, and then do a gap of, we'll do 1 rem. All right, so that didn't work quite like expected, so let's go down to card and we'll do flex and set that to be 0, 0 auto, I guess. Okay, and then we'll do flex wrap, wrap, wrap. So it's wrapping now, but for some reason the image is huge, so I think the shrink needs to be 1. Yeah, there we go. All right, so we're seeing some movement here. Then for the card body, we're going to set a padding all around of 1 rem. So I just thought of something. This actually needs to be a link. So we're going to set this whole div to be a link, which is going to be, oh, I need to import. So option enter. We need a key, which will be our post ID. And then we need an href, which is going to be our /blogs. I think that, nope, /blog. And then hit it with post.slug. So now if I save that, nothing should change, but now all of these are links. So we have blog, perfect. Okay. And that still works. Great. So let's get these edges rounded, shall we? So the card is not rounded, though it should be. So let's see why not here. So I'm going to lift this up. We have border radius. Does it? I hope it doesn't need to be important because it should just be right. We need to make this a little bit more evident so I can see. All right. So our card isn't, we will figure out how to get it rounded here in a minute. And so these as little baby cards on mobile, they seem fine. So I do want to get them rounded, but now if I expand, so we can go to, let's say, include, we'll do our medium small breakpoint, where we can then set our flex. This is the wrong kind of brackets. Set our flex to be 1, 0, and we'll say like, all right, so here we're going to do some, well, yeah, we're still going to do math, but not the intense math that I thought I was going to do. So we'll do calc -1 rem. And then here we can see that, do I need to set this to be, I would like them all to be the same size. All right, so we see 2 of them and then one big one at the bottom, which is not the end of the world. It's just not what I want. Which really means let's set this to be, well, what does the auto do at bigger screen sizes? So we come over here. Okay, so it's all just 100%. So flex, we don't want grow, that's right. Well, we'll see if that's right. Yeah, so that's exactly right. Perfect. So now we've got these that are expanding as we go, and we're going to set our align items to be stretch, because I just don't like when things, like there's this white space down here at the bottom, but when I align items stretch, at least it, I think it needs to be in card. Well, no. Well, so I think I need to set the display here to be flex direction column. And then it should be, I think, justify items. Wrong. All of it's wrong. All right, so let's go back. We're going to take a look here. I think we have to set the inner div, which I don't think actually needs to exist. And then this needs to be set to display flex, or align items. Stretch. Nope. All right, so let's get rid of that div because I don't think we need it. Here. All right, so now let's refresh to make sure all of this is right. Okay, so we have this card. So then we need to do, let's try this again, align items. Stretch. So maybe it's on the card row. Align items. Stretch. Oh, okay. So in that case, what I need to do is this is supposed to be align items stretch up here. But the problem is that the card's background color is not this light primary. So we can set the card background to be that, which may be why our rounding wasn't working. And there it is. It's now rounded, but not on the image. So if we go to card image and we do overflow hidden, I thought for sure that would work. What if I did aspect ratio of 16:9? Nothing, because they are already 16:9. All right, so if we look at our card, so we do our overflow hidden at our card level, not our image level. Okay, perfect. So now we have our rounding, overflow hidden. And so here, this is not a great image to see that kind of rounding, but there it is, and you can see, get it clicked out of there. You can see all of this is working as intended. So now we get a little bit bigger, and probably right about here. So this is probably our mid size, where we will then do 3 in a row at mid break. And we'll see if this was mid break. It was not, but if we go a little bit bigger, there's our medium break. And then at large size, at include large break, we'll do flex, and we can set this to be 25%, and we can accept 4 on a row, which it does right there. So here we don't want the text size to be that big for either the date or the title. So we're going to go to our card title, and we're going to set our font size to be, we'll just say 1 rem. That's probably going to be too small, but then the font date we'll set the font date for the card date font size to 1, and we'll set this to be 1.1. And that seems a little bit more appropriate. Perfect.